अस्सलाम वालेकुम डियर स्टूडेंट्स। आज हम बात करने जा रहे हैं किंगडम प्रोटिस्टा की। किंगडम प्रोटिस्टा में वो सब ऑर्गेनिजम्स है जो यूनिसेलुलर है एंड एट द सेम टाइम दे हैव अ वेल डिफाइंड न्यूक्लियस। ओके, द मेन डिफरेंस बिटवीन मोनिरन्स एंड प्रोटिस्टन्स इज while monerans don't possess a well defined nucleus, protistas they have a well defined nucleus, otherwise they are same. Monerans are unicellular and protistans they are also unicellular. Now the next thing is, how can we define protista? Protistas are defined less by what they are and more by what they are not. इसका मतलब ये है जो protistans है उनको हम define करते हैं on the basis of what they do not possess, what they are not. Okay, I will tell you, a protista is not a plant. ये plant भी नहीं है, animal भी नहीं है, fungus भी नहीं है और prokaryote भी नहीं है. Okay, so they do not belong to any of these groups. They do not they cannot be assigned to any of these groups, so they form a separate group, and that separate group is known as that separate group is known as protista. Sorry, that is known as protista. Protista kingdom is also known as leftover kingdom. Leftover kingdom का मतलब ये है जो चीज़ कहीं पे भी फिट ना हो वो इसी में जाती है. ओके, कोई ऑर्गेनिज्म है वो प्लांट्स के साथ नहीं मेल खाता हो या एनिमल्स के साथ मेल नहीं खाता है या बाकी किंगडम्स के साथ मेल नहीं खाता, उसको साइंटिस्ट इसी किंगडम में प्लेस करते हैं. ओके, दिस इज ऑल्सो नोन एज जंक ड्रॉर, वेयर साइंटिस्ट्स पुट एवरीथिंग दैट डज नॉट फिट समवेयर एल्स. जैसे कि आपके घर में एक ड्रॉर होता है जिसमें हर एक किस्म की चीज़ होती है, छोटी छोटी चीज़ें होती है, आपके फोटोग्राफ्स होते हैं या आपने गम रखा हुआ होता है. ओके, जो पेस्ट करने के काम आता है, सिजर्स होती है, स्टेशनरी होती है, बाकी सब चीज़ें होती हैं, तो वो एक ड्रॉर में होते हैं. ओके, इस ड्रॉर में मतलब बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती है, अनरिलेटेड थिंग्स होती है. फॉर द सेक ऑफ कन्वीनियंस यू पुट देम ऑल टुगेदर, बट at the time when you are required to get some small thing out of this drawer, it leads to confusion because you have a number of heterogeneous things placed in the same drawer. Okay, same is the case with kingdom protista. Kingdom protista में बहुत सारे organisms है, unrelated organisms है, you can say. Okay, the formal name of the kingdom is protista. It is the formal name of the kingdom, and this word comes from the Greek words which means the very first. The meaning of protista is the very first, and this name is quite apt for them because protistas were the first eukaryotic organisms which appeared on earth 1.5 billion years ago. This name fits them well because the protistans, they represent the first eukaryotic organisms which appeared on earth 1.5 billion years ago. Now the different groups of protistans. The first one is photosynthetic protistas, or you can say plant like protista. इसमें हमें डिस्कस करना है डाइनोफ्लैजेलेट्स, डायटम्स और इग्ल्यूनाइड्स की बात करेंगे इसमें हम. सेकंड वन इज कंज्यूमर प्रोटिस्ट्स और फंजे लाइक प्रोटिस्ट्स. इसको हम फंजे लाइक प्रोटिस्ट्स भी बोल सकते हैं. इसमें हमें देखना है स्लाइमोल्ड्स और मिक्सोमाइसीट्स. ओके, देन फाइनली वी हैव प्रोटोजोअन प्रोटिस्ट्स और एनिमल लाइक प्रोटिस्ट्स. इसमें हम डिस्कस करेंगे जूफ्लैजेलेटा, सार्कोडिना, स्पोरोजोआ, सिलेटा एट्सेट्रा. ओके, सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी विल टॉक अबाउट प्लांट लाइक प्रोटिस्ट्स, और प्लांट लाइक प्रोटिस्ट्स में पहले हम डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं डाइनोफ्लैजेलेट्स. Dinoflagellates are golden brown photosynthetic organisms, and these organisms, here you can see in the slide, they are motile and flagellated. They are motile, that means they are capable of movement, and they are flagellated, they have flagella. They are also known as whirling whips because they show peculiar spinning movement. They show peculiar spinning movement because of this flagella. याद रखना, they are motile and flagellated, also known as whirling whips, because they exhibit peculiar type of spinning movement. Now their cell wall is also known as theca or lorica, and this cell wall is composed of plates made up of cellulose. ये जो cell wall होता है इनका, it is composed of plates made up of cellulose, and you can find two grooves. One is known as longitudinal sulcus, and the second one is known as transverse girdle or annulus. Here you can see. this one, this is longitudinal sulcus, and this one is transverse girdle or annulus. Okay, यहाँ पे भी आप देख सकते हैं इसमें, this is here longitudinal and this is transverse. So the cell wall, which is also known as theca or lorica, it is composed of plates, and these plates are made up of cellulose. You can find two grooves in the cell wall. One is known as longitudinal sulcus, जो longitudinally run करता है, and second one is known as transverse girdle or annulus, जो transversely run करता है. Now their flagella, they possess two flagella, and these two flagella are different from each other. That is why they are known as heteroconts. Heteroconts means they possess two different flagella. Okay, they possess two different flagella. This flagella, which is long and possesses small hair-like structures, this is known as longitudinal flagellum. It moves through the longitudinal sulcus. Okay, and then this is known as transverse flagellum. It is in the transverse girdle. One more structure associated with these organisms is trichocystis. These are spindle-shaped ejective structures just below the cell membrane. Here, these are spindle-shaped ejective structures which are present just below the cell membrane. This represents the trichocyst here. Now their nucleus. Their nucleus is large and prominent. They do not possess any histones. This is very much important. They possess a nucleus which is large and prominent, but at the same time histones are lacking. Basic proteins are lacking, okay, which are present in higher eukaryotes. And on the basis of this fact, they are known as mesokaryons or dinokaryons. They do not possess histones, and because of this fact, they are known as mesokaryons or dinokaryons. Now their chloroplasts. The chloroplasts in these organisms, since they are plant-like, okay, they perform photosynthesis. The chloroplasts in these organisms, they are discoid. Discoid means disc-shaped. Here you can see in the image, they possess these discoid chloroplasts here. This is mitochondria. Thylakoids here they are the discoid chloroplasts, and these chloroplasts possess chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, alpha carotene, and xanthophylls, including dinoxanthin and peridine. Now another structure associated with these organisms is pustule. Pustule is actually an osmoregulatory organelle. Superficially, it looks like the contractile vacuoles which are present in some bacteria. Okay, here you can see it is the osmoregulatory organelle. It maintains the osmotic balance of the cells. It prevents their bursting. So you know the pustule is simply an osmoregulatory structure. It regulates the osmotic balance of the cells. Now the mitochondria, ribosomes, and Golgi bodies. Since these cells are eukaryotes, they are eukaryotic cells, they possess well-defined nucleus. They also possess the other membrane-bound organelles like mitochondria, ribosomes, and Golgi bodies. Now their nutrition. Their nutrition is they are holophytic or photosynthetic. Okay, holophytic or photosynthetic means they are capable of producing their own food material. They do not depend on other organisms for food. Since they possess chloroplasts, they possess photosynthetic pigments, they can prepare their own organic food material. Now their reproduction. In these organisms, reproduction occurs by asexual means mostly. Okay, this asexual reproduction takes place by cell division or by the formation of zoospores and cysts. Zoospores are basically small reproductive bodies which possess flagella, or you can say they are motile spores, and cysts are the thick walled structures which also help these organisms in propagation. So the asexual reproduction in these organisms, it takes place by three methods. One is simple cell division, second one is formation of motile zoospores, and the third one is cystis. Now sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is not present in most of these organisms. If present, it is isogamous or anisogamous. Isogamous means when both the male and female gametes are of similar size. Okay, they are similar in all respects. And anisogamous means when male and female gametes, they are different from each other. Okay, different in terms of motility, different in terms of size, etc. So sexual reproduction, if present in these organisms, it can be isogamous. Isogamous means when both the gametes are similar, and anisogamous means when the male and female gametes, they differ from each other in different respects. The examples of this group includes Grenodinium, Peridynium, Gymnodinium, Gonolox, Seracium, and Noctiluca. These are some important examples which belong to this group. Okay. They also exhibit bioluminescence. Bioluminescence means they emit light when they are agitated by sudden movement. When these organisms are agitated by water currents, for example, they emit light, they give off light. This is characteristic of these organisms. One more important feature associated with these organisms is they release some neurotoxins, and these neurotoxins, they concentrate in the shellfish and cause illness in humans. The shellfish which are present in the same water bodies where these organisms exist, they concentrate these toxins which are released by these organisms in their bodies, and when the shellfish are consumed by humans, the toxins get transferred to the body of humans, and it leads to illness in humans. So this is all about the dinoflagellates. In the next part, we are going to discuss the other groups of plant-like protists. Till then, stay happy and God bless you all.